Good morning. Thank you for being here today. As we gather to remember and commemorate the life of Wendy Peterson, one of the most meaningful things we can do after the loss of somebody that we love is simply to come together. In moments like these, we lean on each other through shared stories, tears, and shared laughter. Grief is never meant to be carried alone. It's meant to be softened in the company of others who understand both the depth of our loss and the beauty of the life that we are remembering. This has been a difficult year for the Peterson family. Earlier, they also said goodbye to Wendy's father, Leslie, to those two beloved members of the same family in such a short time. It's a heavy burden. And yet, here we are, gathered together, holding one another up and reminding each other that love and memory are stronger than sorrow. Wendy's family has walked a long and courageous road alongside her these past months, years, and their strength has been a reflection of hers. Through every challenge, Wendy met life with quiet determination. She was not one to seek attention, but those who knew her recognized a deep and steady compassion, especially in the way she cared for others. Wendy devoted much of her life to serving through her work as a nursing assistant in several local nursing homes. Those who have worked in that field know it's a high calling and a difficult one. Requires patience and humility, with a heart willing to give without expecting a lot in return. Wendy had that kind of heart. She saw humanity in people when they were at their most vulnerable. And she gave her time and her energy and her gentle presence to comfort them. That quiet ministry of care is something truly sacred. It is a love lived through action. Outside of her work, Wendy found joy in the simple things that brought her comfort and connection. She was a proud mother and grandmother and sister and daughter who delighted in following her children and grandsons' activities. She especially adored her grandson, Cade, and looked forward to watching him grow. And in that, we're reminded that grief is not only about the loss that was, but it's also about the loss of what could have been, the moments not yet shared, and the milestones not yet reached. The future chapters now will be written with her love present in spirit. Wendy also had a soft spot for her feline companions. Each one reflected a little of her gentle spirit and love at home. As any cat person will tell you, I think she was self-described as a cat person, right? So I can say that. As any cat person will tell you, the kind of love is built on a quiet trust and understanding, something Wendy seemed to offer freely to both people and pets alike. So today, as we honor her life, may we also honor the way she touched yours, with kindness, care, and a steady, loving presence. Let us draw strength from one another and from the example she set to serve with compassion, to love deeply, and to face each day with quiet courage. Our service begins with a song that the family picked, I think one of Wendy's favorites, Prince song, Raspberry Beret. I have a reading called The Ship. What is dying? I am standing on the seashore. A ship sails in the morning breeze and starts for the ocean. She is an object of beauty, and I stand watching her till at last she fades on the horizon, and somebody at my side says, "She is gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight is all. She is just as large in her mast, hulls, and spars as she was when I saw her, and just as able to bear her load of living freight to its destination. The diminished size and total loss of sight is in me, not in her. And at the moment when somebody at my side says she is gone, there are others who are watching her coming, and other voices take up a glad shout, "There she comes." And that is dying. This time I will ask Brenda Smith to step forward, and she will read Psalm 23.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
This time we're going to have some time where if people wish to share a thought or a reflection about Wendy. Each person here had a connection to her in some way. As a family member, a friend, a coworker, or a caregiver, this is a time to reflect on that relationship. Remember what she meant to you and how she touched your life. Some reflections may be shared aloud, or others may be held quietly within your heart. Both are equally meaningful. Each story, each memory, or each moment of thought helps to keep Wendy's spirit alive among us. As we speak her name and recall the moments we shared, we continue the work of carrying her forward in our words and our silence, and the love that remains. First, I'm going to call upon Wendy's friend Carlene Koopman.
Yeah, that was a Diet Coke. Yeah, for those of you that don't know me, Carlene Koopman, Wendy's lifelong friend. Tell you how we met. I think we were like in 4th or 5th grade, and Wendy lived in Russell at the time, and they were playing softball with us in Ivanhoe, and there was just something. Wendy came up to me that day after that softball game, and she's like, just immediately became my friend. And it was kind of an amazing thing. Mel was there that summer. She was pretty much always with her mom, but Mel happened to be there at that time. And I became pen pals with the entire softball team from that. Like, it was just an amazing, amazing thing. And I always thought about it. So whenever Russell Tyler would play Ivanhoe, I'd call Wendy or she'd call me, "Are you going to the game tonight?" I'd be like, "Heck yeah." And we'd meet up and we'd hang out. And then years later, they moved to Ivanhoe. And she was in 8th grade, I was in 9th grade. We're 3 days apart. We're born November 13th, November 16th, 1967, respectively, right? And we just became fast friends. We spent the next like 4 years at her house, at my house, wherever it was, we were just always together. And it's kind of amazing to me after, Wendy had passed and people had found out this last week how like random people, or sometimes people that I knew, a lot of times people that I kind of knew or I knew of, like reached out to me and they said the most amazing thing to me. "We always admired your friendship. You girls were the life of the party. You were always there. You were the people wanted to like be around." And they admired our friendship. I don't know if I've ever had anybody say to me, "I admire your friendship," or I've looked at other people and thought, what an amazing friendship. But I'm going to tell you that Wendy was the most amazing friend to me. And I'll get back to that later. But to have people reach out and tell me that, it's like, what a difference she made to so many people, right? Definitely my life. But what I will always remember about Wendy, and Mel, your laugh reminds me of her so much, was that loud, obnoxious, room-filling, heart-wrenching laugh that she had. And she found humor in so many things, in so many dark days, and I think that's really beautiful. But I just want to share with you some of the things that we laughed about when we were kids. And my mom and dad are here today. They're sitting back here in the corner, so I'm going to make some of this like PG. But I think when I graduated from college, we had a little gathering, and Wendy asked my mom and dad, "Now that Carlene's graduated, do you think we can tell you about some of the things that we did?" And so she did. She told her. She told her about the time when my mom and dad were going up to my godparents up in the cities for a graduation or something. And when my dad said to me on the way out the door, "Don't take the bus." So those of you that don't know, my mom and dad used to have a camper. It was an old school bus that was renovated into a camper. And it parked down kind of by the creek and the lake. And the light bulb went on Wendy's head because she was the one that always dared everybody to do everything. Did she not know? Yes. And so we dug and we dug and we dug and we found the keys. So we took the bus, and it's one of those big sticks that you had to like do, and I'm driving and Wendy's driving, Wendy in the clutch, and I'm running the stick shift, and we took it driving around the neighborhood until one of the neighbors drove past us. We're like, "Oh crap, we better get this back." Took it, we got it parked as close as we could, took the rakes out, raked the yard up, went back in the house, and hopefully we thought mom and dad never knew. They probably knew, but they do now. Sorry, Dad. We took your camper. And when I first got my driver's license to prove that I was going to be responsible, because I wasn't always very responsible, like mom and dad used to give me 100 miles a week. You can only drive 100 miles a week. So it was basically back and forth to town for softball practice in the summer and stuff like that, right? So it was 3.3 miles from my driveway to Wendy's house and 3.3 miles back. So they kind of had it figured out, because I had to go to town for practices for some sport twice a day, right? They had it figured out that 100 miles a week was going to get me to town and back. Well, I wanted to go see my boyfriend, Corey Willard, in Tyler, and I had like a reserve of like 9 miles to use up. I keep stepping on that, I'm sorry, thank you, Mike. So Wendy, light bulb goes on, let's drive backwards. So we left Ivanhoe, went through Arco, backwards the whole time to Tyler. Corey's at the school lifting weights for football practice, and we drive round, proudly we drive round and round backwards around this big school, this big circle in Tyler, and then drive all the way backwards to Ivanhoe, not realizing that it actually did take miles off the car. So we get back, and now we have to put on like 20 miles. So we're driving 80 miles an hour around the section really fast, trying to put on like 27 miles, because I have to make it look like I actually went to Ivanhoe and back. Sorry, once again, Dad. Yeah, that was fun. Wendy had to accompany me to a parade, so I was the Lincoln County Dairy Princess and Miss Ivanhoe at the same time. And so I had to ride on 2 floats, and Wendy's going with me, and afterwards, Wendy and I are gonna go to Pizza Hut and a movie. We had big plans. We brought clothes, put them in the back seat. So I go through the parade, first time, and the wiener float, because that's what it was. If anybody doesn't remember the big wiener float for Ivanhoe, where you rode on top of the big hot dog? Yep, that was me. And that took off going down Main Street, Tyler. And Wendy's like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm like, you gotta catch the float. So Wendy just takes off running. And everybody is like yelling at her, Wendy, where are you going? I gotta catch the weenie. And she did. She caught the weenie, they slowed up, and they got me on there. Later on that night, we get there and we're like, well, I gotta change out of my dress. So we pull off somewhere over by Lind, on some side road. We don't know where we're at, but all of a sudden it was like kerploosh. And we were in a slough, and we were stuck. So we hitchhiked to the co-op in Marshall. 6 hours, they couldn't get us out of there. They finally went and got a drunk from the Linwood. They yanked us out of there. And then Wendy and I, so that they didn't tell my dad, because my dad had an account at the co-op, we had to wash vehicles for them all night long. Yep. And no alcohol was involved in any of this stuff, so. And then we took a trip once to Hutchinson. A friend of mine had graduated that my friends all knew from Hutchinson, so we were going to go up for the weekend. And it was me, Wendy, and Rachel Copper. And I
think I was in the trunk.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And you know, we're driving up there, and Wendy says, let's drive without our bras on. Like, well, great idea, right? So we take our bras off, we hang them on the antenna, and we drive 65 miles down the road, and our bras are just flying in the air, and we really thought we were having a great time, and we did. Yeah. And the following night, we were supposed to stay once again in Hutchinson, but I told my friend's mom, oh, we gotta get home. Something happened with Wendy, right? So Shirley Bevensey is like, yeah, you know, you should go. And thinking, God, Shirley, don't call my mom, because we're gonna stay out all night long. And that's when that song you just heard, Raspberry Beret, that's when that became our theme song. We drove around all night long, and we played Raspberry Beret, and it goes something like this. All our friends, we'd stand in a circle, and we would say, stud, woman, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'd come together and we'd high five in the middle, and that from that day forward became our friend theme song. And that song means so much. Every time I hear it, Deb and I were just laughing about it back there. It holds such a special place in my heart, because we were weird, we were the nerds, we just wanted to have fun, we just wanted to be in each other's presence, and we were. Yeah. But anyhow, so that night we decided we're kind of tired. We went to Norwegian Creek, which is by Lake Benton, for those that may not know. And we're kind of cold. We thought, well, we're going to start a fire. So we go digging through my car. The only thing we could find was like a bunch of tampons and a bunch of pads. And so we thought, well, let's start a fire. with tampons and pads, and it didn't work. So, yeah. You'll always remember that. Yeah. We would, just for shits and giggles in the middle of the day, we'd play dead by the side of the road and put ketchup on ourselves and we'd lay down by the, to see if people would just drive by and they would look at us. I don't think anybody ever took us serious. We loved going to the showboat. Something that we did every single weekend and we didn't miss it. Melissa would wear an outfit one week, Deb wore it the next week, I'd wear it the following week. We all wore the same clothes. We shared, we were of like. And that was pretty cool. Wendy always wore it better, right?
Oh, yeah.
When Wendy walked into a room, when we get ready for the showboat, it would take me 2 hours. Like I had to print my hair, put all this makeup on, and put a lot of Aquanet into the universe. And Wendy would get ready in 10 minutes. Come on guys, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We gotta get going. Well, we can't go to showboat till 8, but Wendy has to get going now, but she could get ready at 10 and look absolutely amazing. And it took me and the rest of us 2 hours, but one time, one of the funniest things I think we ever experienced, we were getting ready at Deb's house for the showboat, and Wendy found this nose hair clipper. It was like a manual, you put it in your nose, and you screw it around, and it trims your nose hair. So Wendy finds this, and she's like, light bulb goes on, daring Wendy for me to trim my nose hair. Yeah, we all thought that was a good idea until it got stuck, and it hurt, and Wendy had to yank it out of my nose, and we laughed, and we always laughed about that. Yep. But yeah, I graduated a year before Wendy because she was held back when she was younger. And I remember the night before I left for college, Wendy really had a meltdown. She was like, you're gonna leave me. And it was never my intention. I was only going to Marshall, and that was kind of difficult for her, right? Because we were so into each other. She loved to come out to my house, and I'm sorry, Mom. My mom doesn't cook big lasagnas and big dinners. It's very healthy and very little salt. But Wendy loved to sit around our table because we would sit around and talk like a family. And they would ask her about her day, right? She just absolutely loved that, and I know it's those things, not just the fun things. But the one thing that, because I'm going to paint the picture real here, is that we all know that Wendy struggled from mental health issues, right? We don't have to hide that. She's never hid it, right? And all the fun things that we did, the driving around, the being crazy, just being whatever in each other's presence. The one thing that I knew that Wendy needed is we would drive around and we would listen to static on the radio. And we wouldn't have words. And why wouldn't we have words? Because Wendy's head was sometimes so full of so many words. She just wanted to get those words out and think to herself, and then we get out and we dance it out in the middle of Main Street. And the other night I went driving around and we danced their static, we danced their static, we danced their static, because she needed that. She needed that. When Wendy had moved with her dad up to the cities after her graduation, lived in Crystal, and things got a little dark for Wendy, and she would call me, and it was tough. And I got up in the middle of the night when she called me, and I drove up there, and we moved Wendy out that night. We moved her in with me, and I'll never forget that. That's, I think, when I realized that Wendy's sadness wasn't just situational, that it was truly clinical, right? It was truly clinical. Then she married Rick. I got pregnant with Kendra. I was a single mom at 21. Wendy was my coach. She was the matron of honor at my wedding. I am Brandon's godmother. Those kids, my children, didn't realize when they were young that Wendy was not her aunt, that Jordan, Brandon, and Kelsey were not their cousins. Our families were just so very intertwined. And it meant a lot to them, and I know it meant a lot to you kids. It meant an awful lot to you kids. And my kids love you kids, and they love Wendy. Whenever Wendy would, Kendra always had a lot of friends over. Kendra's like 4'11", she'll tell you she's 5 foot, but she's not. She's 4'11". And when Wendy would be there and her friends would be over, she always introduced Wendy. It wasn't, yeah, this is my mom's friend, this is Wendy. It was, this is my Wendy. Like, this is my mom. This is my aunt. This is my whatever. To my kids, Wendy was there, my Wendy. And that meant so much, will always mean so much to all of us. And when those kids would come, you got Jordan, who's always a little reserved, Brandon, who's always been a little bit crazy, and Kelsey a little bit sassy, right? Yep. And I will miss hearing Wendy yell, "Kelsey, Melissa!" All the time, all the time. You know, when I look out, I see so many faces of people that I know that Wendy loves so much, and you had this mountain of impact on her. Sean, you were her favorite cousin, and she thought you were the funniest person in the whole room. Every time. Yeah, she loved her cousin Sean so much. I know Pam is here. And that was a really meaningful, almost mother-like relationship with Wendy when she needed the most. I saw Mrs. Larson last night, who would iron her dress for concerts or hymn things for her. My mom would do that. You know, there's just so many people. I know she loved you, Brenda, and you, Tina. Mostly she loved her kids. Right here. That's the center of her universe, right here. She loved them so much. And though sometimes it was hard for some of us to reach Wendy, then you had to reach really hard. But that's the most beautiful part. People are going to stand up there and say, "Oh, she was just so wonderful, and she was so great with people." But I'm going to tell you what I believe the most beautiful thing about Wendy is she allowed me to go into her darkness with her. She allowed me to feel that. She allowed me to live that with her. And for that, it is the 100% most intimate relationship of my lifetime. When I went to college and I'm meeting all kinds of new people and I'm getting invited here, invited there, I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. Why? Because I couldn't have those deep, meaningful conversations. I couldn't sit in silence for 6 hours with somebody and feel comfortable in my own skin. Right? That's what friendship really is that you don't have to be there just for all the good things, that you get to be there for all the really difficult things. And we had that. I got to share that with her. So many people got to see little tiny tidbits of Wendy in life and hear laughter and see a scenario, whatever it may be, right? But the most beautiful part about my friend is that she could be open and she could be real and she could be raw with me. And it didn't matter what it was. When I look at the Stinsky family, you guys have been an amazing part of her life because you never gave up on her. Wendy's most irrational fear is people were going to leave her. And Tammy, thank you, because your friendship was a lot to her. And inside of that, right, like sometimes families get split apart, but Elaine still continued to love. Rick still continued to be there. And that's what true friendship really, really, really is. She loved you, Mike. She loved you, Donna. And man, Mel, she loved you more than anybody. You were her. Yep, she did. She absolutely loved you. And I love you so much. Yep. So, I'm not following. I've written like 10 different scenarios and I'm not doing any of it. And I don't really care because I'm just talking from the heart. But what I'm going to tell you is that like when you talk about home, it's a place. And I have a real beautiful home and most amazing parents, right? But Wendy was my home. Because inside of her, inside of all those moments and those weekends and all those things that we had together, we understood. We were on the same level. And no matter how hard things would get for me or hard things would get for Wendy, like we were just always there. And we just loved each other. And accepting someone for exactly who they are, she accepted me. And I was never as good at talking about my inabilities as she was good at talking about hers. That's amazing. That's a beautiful thing, right? Because she's my hero. Because there were days that I know it was really hard for Wendy to get up, right? And just to do and to be. And it took a lot of strength. And that's what makes her, she's not only stubborn, she's very stubborn, but she's so strong. She was just so strong, and that makes her my hero because of all the little tidbits of her life. Like, I got to see that strength in the most difficult of times. And that's true friendship. That's a true person. And I'm not sure I will ever find a friendship as intimate with a significant other, with a friend, as what I got to have with Wendy. And I'm so fortunate, so lucky, how lucky I am. Not today that I lost my friend, right? But the fact that I got to have this beautiful, beautiful friendship. And I'm forever thankful. So she is my home. It's not always about a place, it's just about a person and something that, a smell that you have, and a feeling that you get, and you hear a song like Raspberry Beret, and that will always be my stub woman song, right? And that's the beautiful little bits and pieces of life that I never want to give up about her. I never want to forget them. So if I ever forget, if I ever take a moment to forget, I want you all to come up here, because Wendy would have, if she called me out, she would have slapped me and said, "Don't you forget? Don't you forget?" So thank you, family, for sharing just this beautiful piece of your life with me. Thank you for loving me. I love you kids so much. Kelsey was our little NICU miracle, right? And I will forever miss her. And it's been a good lifetime to be her friend.
Thank you, Carlene. Next, we will have Wendy's brother, Michael Peterson.
Thank you, Carlene. It's kind of hard to follow that. I'm going to talk briefly, just a different part of Wendy's life. First of all, I want to thank Horvath. My dad passed away on January 4th, and we had a ceremony here. They were outstanding, fantastic. It's always nice, genuine, caring people. Everybody that has been Wendy's friend through school, all of you that took the time to either pray for her or go up in person and spend time with her. 14 months ago, when we found out that she had cancer, my mom and I and Melissa made it a regular routine. I think I had 5 visits, and the last stage of her life, when we got a phone call saying, "Hey, you probably should get there." We found out in the evening, and my mom and I were 12 hours in the car and got here and made sure that she was by Wendy's side until the end of her life. And Wendy, best friend in the world other than Carlene, is her sister, Melissa. And I know how much it hurts her. And my mom has been a godsend to Wendy in the last part of her life, and stayed in touch with her so much via phone and reaching out. And I have so much respect for my mother and so much admiration for her sacrifice and love for Wendy and Melissa and myself. I want to thank Rick and Carol Peterson, Alan and Judy Peterson. Long before many of you ever knew Wendy, when we were little, they stepped up, they helped us. Phyllis and Larry Marks and the entire Piercy family were always there. When I was a kid with Wendy, the blessings of having Rick come in her life and the entire Stinsky family allowed her to be a parent and allowed her to be a grandparent, which, like Carlene said, her greatest joy was her grandson. But that, to me, long before probably 90% of the people ever knew Wendy, we grew up small town Russell, and very proud to have her as a sister. My fondest memories are, I don't know if you remember this, Melissa, the long driveway that we had out by Rick and Carol's place, and how Wendy or you would run down to the edge of the driveway and wait for Dad to stop, come around the corner, and then you'd sit on his lap and drive up. And all of that was like every single day of school, as long as the weather cooperated. And then one day they went out there, and my dad came around the corner and completely ignored them and drove all the way to the barn because he was smoking a cigar. He threw it outside, the wind blew it in the back, and it started the car on fire and burned the entire inside of the car out. And we didn't get rid of the car because we were too poor. He built wooden seats for the 2 front seats, and we sat in the back on the floorboard driving around. We had no seat belts or no anything. I mean, that's what I remember about Wendy running down. I remember microphones and you sitting on the couch and us doing our duets when we were like 6 and 5 years old, 4 years old. I want to finish. I wish I would have known Carlene better, because I probably wouldn't have the longest argument in family history, 41 years with my sister Wendy. I always said it's hard to hug a grizzly bear, and it's kind of like knowing what you were going to get from her. And when I graduated from high school, I left in graduate school and college, and Wendy and I stayed in touch via phone. And I don't know if there was ever a time that I was on the phone that didn't end with her screaming at me. And I think it was just because I was an older brother and I didn't know all the confidence that she had and all the things that she had with Carlene and her friends, that she was okay. And she was always like, I'll be fine. You don't need to protect me. Stop telling me what to do. And no matter what I did, I couldn't stop that. As a brother, I couldn't do it. And Melissa and I have the same challenges. I worry about her all the time. So I'm going to finish with a story that just kind of depicts how Wendy was. For those of you that remember the Russell High School, elementary, junior high before they tore it down a few years ago, there was still a baseball field on the east side. And my Aunt Crow Boat used to live right across the street on the corner. And there used to be a basketball court with some swing sets. Now it's a beautiful park, and the swing sets are still there. Well, Wendy always tagged along to everything we did sports. She was very talented, but a lot of times she would just sit and watch. So I'm out in the outfield looking over, and she's playing, and I'm watching her, and she's playing with the boys over there, and a boy is chasing her and runs her down and tackles her. And I noticed this, I think they're just playing, and they were, but he tackled her too hard. And she got up, and all of a sudden she took after that kid, and within about 6 steps, she's giving him the business on top, just wailing, boom, boom. I run over, I grab her, not for her sake, but for the little kid. I pull her, and she turns around and whacks me, and she says, "Leave me alone, I don't need your help." And that is how Wendy was. And from that moment, an intelligent person would have followed her instructions, but I didn't. I was always trying to protect her. And she didn't need protection. She was strong, she was tough. But every time we have dinner together with Mom and Dave and my family, my incredible supportive family, Hillary and my daughter Adeline, I always say it was hard to hug a grizzly bear. And to me, Wendy, she lived her life. I have a 1 minute and 19-second video of her 5 days before she passed away. And I'll finish with this. What's the most important thing in your life you want to be remembered by? And she said, I want to be remembered by how much I cared about and helped other people, and how much I loved my 3 children. And I asked her, do you have any regrets? I have no regrets. I don't regret doing anything. I don't regret what's happened to me. I lived my life. I lived a wonderful life, and I will be fine. And with that, I asked her to stay until her dying day, and she said, no, you go home and be with your family. You don't need to be here. I'll be fine. And that was my last conversation that I had with her. So thank you for being here once again. Thanks for everybody. And the rock of my life is my family and my mom, my dad, an incredible human being, and my sister Melissa. I thank you. We just have to continue this journey on our own. So thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm going to invite Tina forward at this time.
My name is Tina. We have a common theme going here. I think stubbornness has been mentioned a few times. I met Wendy, I believe we were both working at the nursing home in Ivanhoe. And for some reason we clicked. But she did not know that she met her match. Stubbornness, I think I beat her. She may be able to beat crap out of a kid, but my stubbornness beat her. I have a lot of memories with her. I have, she managed apartments, and she talked me into moving next to her. We shared a wall, okay? And I watched her with her kids. Brandon lived there. Kelsey was still in high school. Jordan was there. Helping Kelsey get her driver's license. Trying to get enough pillows stacked up on that chair so she could see over the dad. But Wendy, stubborn, strong, we're gonna do it, determined, and she did. And the day of the test, they go, can we have a pillow? Nope, it's considered a restriction. So Kelsey kind of looks at her mom and she's like, so I take the pillow out, and there she went driving, and she did it. Why? You could barely see over the dash, but you passed it. You want to know why? Because I watched all 3 of you kids and you 2 the day that she passed. You guys are strong, you are willful, you are loving, you are caring, you have inherited all of your mother's qualities. All of them. And I see her in each and every one of you. That's something to be proud of, that's something to hold on to. As Carly mentioned, she struggled with mental health issues, as well as I do. In our darkest days, we knew who was dark. I knew when I had to bring the light to her, she knew when she had to bring the light to me. There were days when we were in our both darkest days. And those are the days when she called and she's like, you want to come over? We all know Wendy liked to be by herself. She was a hard worker. She picked up extra hours, but when she'd call and say, hey, do you want to come over? I knew I had to pack my bag, and we were laying both in that queen-size bed just watching TV just next to each other. Just our presence being there. Like I said, we shared a wall. And as you probably know, some of you know, that I'm not very good at answering text messages or voicemails or whatever. So, one day, she's in her apartment, I'm in my apartment, Ryan, do we share a wall? She keeps texting. I'm like, what did you want? So I text a little bit, and then 10 minutes later, I stop, and all of a sudden I hear, why aren't you texting me back? Through the wall. I'm like, so I text her and I said, if you want to come talk to me, open your door, open my door, walk right in. And she did. Towards the end, I know when she was at home, we were waiting to find a placement for her. I was blessed to be able to stay with her for, I don't know, maybe 5-6 days during the night. And at first, strong, stubborn, you're not going to help me. I'm doing everything by myself. I'm like, okay. I said, you fall on the floor, then you stay there. I'll watch you get up. She looks at me and she goes, maybe a little bit you can help me. Well, it ended up that it was the best time, the best days I think we ever spent together. I helped her, to the bathroom, showered, everything, and it was just like nothing. She was family, we were all family, and it was just, we both are caregivers, both in our hearts. She cared for everybody, each and every resident, patient, family, friend that she cared for, she loved. And you could tell. You could tell in her hard work, she would just never sit down, go, 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 because there were people that needed stuff. There were people that needed to be taken care of, and she was gonna do it, and she did it. And I just, towards the end, I wanted to try to get that back to her. I wanted to try to be as strong as she could. And strong, yes, she is strong. And when people struggle with mental health issues, sometimes everybody thinks, oh, you're so strong, you're so strong. But it was in those days where Wendy and I could come together, know we could step away from work, we could step away from the community and let go of some of that strongness and just be ourselves. Another thing one thing I'm not gonna, well, I will miss about Wendy, but I wasn't really shopping with her again. Here's our shopping experience. Okay, we're going to Sioux Falls, go shopping. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, sure, okay. It was Target we went into, and we walked in, and all of a sudden she disappears. I'm like, oh, that's all right, looking, and she comes to me, she has her bag, she goes, you ready to go? Yeah. I'm like, I'm halfway down the first aisle, I have to go through every aisle. No, you don't. You go in there, you get your stuff, you pay for it, you get out of there. And I said, well, that's where you find all the deals, is when you go looking in every corner, look at I don't care, I don't want a deal, I got what I needed, give me the car keys then. I'm still outside and smoke. I'm like, fine. She goes, well, in case you're wondering, the stuff you needed is in that row back over there, so maybe you should just head your cart that way. I'm like, point taken. So we did. So a few days towards the end, I spent some time with her. I don't know, was it a Tuesday? I can't remember my day, Brandon, that you came and I was with her. Thursday. Dad and I went to Marshall for something. I'm like, I just want to stop in and see Wendy just for a little bit. I walked in and she was laying in her bed and totally different from when I saw her last. So I took my big bed and squeezed next to her, laid next to her, and I said, Wendy, and she's like, I see her eyes open, she's like, yep, I'm in bed with you. But just laying there, she tried to talk, I'm like, just, don't say anything. I'm like, this is like normal, let's just lay here, we know, we're having dark days, and you're about to see the best day of your life. You're going to your eternal home, it's more beautiful than where you are right now. And was it Friday, I think? I decided, I'm like, I'm gonna paint her toenails. How she loved to be touched, And I thought, so I said, Wendy, here's my chance. I'm painting her toenails because you're too weak to kick me. So I painted her toenails. I just felt good to do something for her because she thought she had to do everything for everybody else. Saturday I wasn't able to go. I just wanted to stop by. Sunday, sitting on my deck Saturday night, just thinking about Wendy and everything. I'm like, I took a picture of the sky, and there was this big, it looks like an opening in the sky with a big shadow coming down. Sunday morning, I'm like, I don't know, Dad wanted me to go do something. I'm like, I have to go to Marshall. I said, I have to, I don't know, there's just something telling you. Okay, that's fine. So I went, and on the way there, for some reason, I'm obsessed with sky, sun, I can make things out of the clouds. I can make clouds look like whatever I want. And people are like, no, I don't see it. No, that's fine, I do. So I snapped a picture of the sun, and it was the sun, and in different colors, like angel wings, with the hill, with the sun being his body. And my gut, I'm just like, today's the day. Today's the day she gets to be free. Today's the day she leaves this earth physically, but she will remain in sky for us forever. She looked, you guys, like you would not believe, her children, always her children, my grandchildren, look at this picture, so proud, so proud. And don't ever forget that. You guys have every quality she has, and they are the most beautiful qualities to hold on to. I found this thing, 4 candles. I thought it was pretty neat. So, I don't know, a couple months ago or so, first thing I tell you before that, one more story. I went to visit her, I don't know, like 2-3 months ago, and I was laying in her bed, she was in the recliner, and she goes, why don't you take me home and let me stay at your house for the night? Let's get out of here. I'm like, and I know, we got steps. And I thought we could go to a hotel. Okay, so we got permission, and we went and drove around, laughed, and came, took her out, we'd go down Rancho, we'd eat, we'd go get Starbucks, we'd drive around. So I'm like, you're right, let's get you out of here, let's go. So we went and spent the night at the hotel, ordering food from Tavern 507, I was connected. And we sat there and we ate and we laid, there was 2 queen beds and we laid in the same bed like we did at our house and just laid there and watched TV and laughed so hard that we cried. She even let me go to Walmart. I'm like, let's go to Walmart. She never wanted, no. I have this wheelchair. I'm like, yeah, great, I know how to push one. So we did. And we're, I was pushing her every once in a while. She's like, slow down! Well, all of a sudden I hear her go, damn! I'm like, what did you run her over? What? I looked down and she points this lady, she goes, Tina, look, her shorts are so far up her butt, you can't even see the shorts. How can that be comfortable? I looked at her, I'm like, what? I'm like, there you are, there she is, my Wendy. I said, Wendy? She goes, well, look at that. You need a crowbar to get that out of there. And we laughed, in the middle, right up front by the checkout, we were crying, we were laughing so hard. I'm like, okay, we need to be nice now. And we just couldn't stop, so I had to end with that story because she popped out, even though towards the end she was quiet, but she, everything popped out in a way. So I got small things out for candles. 4 candles. The first candle represents our grief. The pain of losing you is intense. It reminds us of the depth of our love for you. The second candle represents our courage. To confront our sorrow, to comfort each other, to change our lives. This third candle we light in your memory. For the times we laughed, the times we cried, the times we were angry with each other, the silly things you did, all the time, the caring and joy you gave us. The fourth candle we light for our love. We light this candle that your light will always shine as we think of you each day and share a memory with our family and friends. We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift your living brought to each of us. We love you. We remember you.
Thank you. I want to encourage you to continue sharing thoughts and memories with each other as time goes on. Our loved one stays with us that way through our memories. Today our service continues with the song Beat You There by Will Dempsey.
I don't know why good ones first. And man, I've tried to be strong and carry on, but damn, this hurts. And I just wish that I could talk to you again somehow, some way. Even if it's for a moment, so I can hear you say, don't cry for me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be a short ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to the moments and the memories we share. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. I know they say, just give it a little time, you'll be okay. But that might be true. It don't really help me today. And we ain't supposed to question the man upstairs. There's just so much I don't understand. It just don't seem fair. For me, I'm alright. I'm better than you know. And this life can be a short ride, so don't waste it on sorrow. And just hold on to the moments and the memories we share. We're both headed for the same place anyway. I just beat you there. And as each day goes by, I get a little bit stronger. That don't stop me from wishing you were here a little bit longer. So I'm gonna smile when I think of you, like I know you want me to. And I know you're watching over me and everything I do. And all those things I never got to say, well, I'll send them with this prayer. Then look up, wipe my tears and raise my feet. And I'll see you there. I'll see you
We conclude with a Christian litany of commemoration. In the midst of life, we are in death. From whom can we seek help? Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth. God, who raised Christ from the dead, will give life to your mortal bodies also, through the Spirit that dwells within you. Listen, I will tell you a mystery. We will not all die, but we will all be changed. For this perishable body must put on imperishability, and this mortal body must put on immortality. Then the saying that is written will be fulfilled. Death has been swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? But thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Let us pray. Oh God, you have ordered this wonderful world and know all things in earth and in heaven. Give us such faith that by day and by night, at all times and in all places, we may without fear commit ourselves and those dear to us to your never-failing love. In this life and the life to come, amen. Now to the one who is able to keep you from failing and to make you stand without blemish in the presence of God's glory with rejoicing, to the only God our Savior, through Jesus Christ our Lord, be glory, majesty, power, and authority before all time, forever and ever. Amen. Let us conclude. Maybe we'll recite the Lord's Prayer together, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Our service concludes with the song If Heaven by Andy Griggs. After our song, you're invited into our room behind us. The family has generously made arrangements for a lunch fellowship, so we'll invite the family to come forward first, please. Once our seating is full in this space, we will have additional seating in our entryway, or you may pick up a plate and come back to this room as well. At the conclusion of our lunch, we will be providing some information about our procession to the cemetery in Russell. Those who intend to come with us to the cemetery, we will form a procession at the exit of our parking lot. We will have a police escort lead us through town. Those coming along, please keep your headlights and flashers on to identify yourself as part of the funeral procession. Once we get out of town, State Patrol prefers that we drive at highway speed, so we'll do that. Just be cautious and watchful, especially as we're making our way through town. Watch for other traffic. If you do get separated, don't get nervous. We won't start anything at the graveside until we're all gathered together. So, thank you for your presence today. On behalf of Wendy's family, our service concludes with the song, If Heaven.